Everybody, welcome to the Pergamano Summer School lesson number 3. How are we all doing today? Hopefully you can hear me. We'll just wait for Gilly to give us the all clear. It's spot on 10 o'clock. I can see the numbers going up, so there's lots of people coming into the room. Good morning, good morning. I'm getting funny bleeping sounds in my ear. I'm hoping it's nothing too serious. Good morning, Catherine from sunny Redditch. And good morning, Sue. There we go. Message from Gilly. Sound is good. Thank you, Catherine, as well. How are we all doing today? This bleeping in my ear, I don't know what it is. It's really weird. Maybe every time I move, let me see. Yep, did it again. Strange. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's nothing. We will find out later. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Pergamano Summer School lesson number 3. And what we're going to do now, I'm going to bring the lovely Linda in, because hopefully it'll be a distraction from this bleeping in my ear. And here we go. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning. Good morning. It's me. It says beep, beep, beep.
Is it you bleeping?
No.
I don't know. Can you hear the bleeping, or is it just me?
No, I can't hear it. No,
it's just me then.
Headphones. Yeah. So that's activity going on in your brain.
Scary. I'm going to ask that lovely question that I ask every week, Linda. What is the weather in Wales like today?
It's not bad, actually. It's quite sunny.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not too hot either. So it's a perfect day today.
Super duper. That's really good.
Yeah, I like your shirt, God.
Sorry?
That's a nice shirt.
Thank you. Yes.
That would make a lovely groovy plate, you know.
It would, wouldn't it? I've got a stack of shirts hanging up in the studio, and each week I go, now which one should I wear this week? Because I only wear it for an hour, so it's like my own wardrobe just hanging up.
Good idea. Good idea. Yeah. So
this week we're carrying on with the 4-needle tool this week.
Yeah.
So part 2. And next week we're going to look at the 5-needle tool. So we're going to go up 1 needle.
Yeah, not the 5 in a circle, the 5 needle. 5
needle.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I saw on Groovy and Clarity Worldwide all the work that everybody's doing.
There's some amazing work coming through. Yeah.
Some
people are making a few mistakes, but they're posting their mistakes. And if I can, I'll address it and I'll tell them where they've gone wrong. And I think it's good to have feedback like that, constructive feedback, isn't it? Rather than
absolutely. And I think, like anything, don't think when you try it and you don't get it right the first time, you think, oh, that's it. That's all about what these classes are about.
Exactly.
And you can go back and watch again and again, and you think, okay, well, where have I gone wrong? And again, keep those pieces. Like we say when we started off on the Groovy Tuesday, keep the pieces where you go wrong, and it gives you that reference to look back on, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I mean, if you were in a classroom situation, you'd have somebody hovering all the time, and they probably then would stop you before you go any further if you've made a little mistake. But you are, in effect, once you go from the summer school, you are in effect on your own, but there's always somewhere you can go for a little bit of help. I mean, I've had messages, I've had people send me pictures. There's a lot going on in the background, and there's some people have actually done the whole sampler, and I think that's wonderful, really wonderful. When they've had the book for maybe a year, 2 years, and bought it with people buy things with all good intentions, and then they get them home and they think, oh, where do I start? Even with a written word, it's not the same, is it? As actually no. And this, right. I could go on for weeks and weeks and weeks with a 4-needle tool. We're just touching on it here, And I've got lots to show you today. I'm hoping we can cram it all in.
And what I love when I look on Groovy and Clarity Worldwide is that I see those pictures of the samplers and think, oh, Linda's posted her sampler, and it's not, it's what people at home are doing. So you
Yes.
sort of like that double take, and you think, wow, that's so impressive.
Yes.
But don't get disheartened if you can't get it right straight away.
No.
Otherwise, there's no need to beat yourself up, is there?
Yeah, people send me something and I say, well, you've not quite got this right. You should be doing this, this, and this. And then they'll go back and they'll do it again. And it's very often the second, third, or fourth time, it's perfect. You've just got to keep at it. It's that sort of thing. If you learn something straight away and you didn't have to work hard at it, it's not quite as rewarding as if you've put a lot of effort into it and you've got there, you finally got there. And of course, you've got Glynis's samples every Sunday on the blog, on the Clarity Matters blog. And I'm seeing lots of people incorporating the needle tools in their other patterns as well now. They're getting a little bit of confidence and they're actually putting it in. So isn't that wonderful? Yeah, very rewarding.
It is, and it's nice to see, like, sort of going back, sort of like the free needle tool that we never really sort of focused on at all. And now I've seen it with other people. So I've used this with the free, and just going around those little flowers to create the sort of the little flowers with the embossing around the perforations.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So today we're carrying on with the number 4. So let me just, so this is the one we're looking at today. Let's bring it over a little bit.
That's right.
There we go. So we're carrying on with number 4. And again, as you say, we're just touching briefly on the different elements, because there's no way we could cover absolutely everything. And that's the whole idea of having the book, isn't it? It's sort of like your homework book that you can go back to again and again.
Yeah. Are we going to cover the 3 squares on the bottom left-hand corner there? We're going to be covering, well, just one of those really. If you can do one, you can do them all. But if you look, if I change my camera over and if I show you keep yours on that now. There it is there.
So there we go. So if I swing that round that way.
You've got there the 3, you've got, those are the same perforations if you look on your book there. It's perforated in the same way, but it's embossed in a totally different way and cut in a totally different way. You'd never think that those 3 boxes started off with that same pattern there on the book, would you?
No, that's right.
Yeah, so you can either cut crosses, you can turn them into slots. And that's what I want to show today, because we covered the little crosses last week and the embossing within. So I'm gonna show you that middle one today. So we're going to be cutting the slots. It's very much like cutting a cross, only it's a longer line of crosses, really.
That's right, and I'm quite familiar with that with some of Josie's pattern duets. To get that sort of, it's more of an open area, isn't it?
That's right. Yes. So there's an enlargement.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to give you full screen so we can sort of, whoop, there we go. There we go. So we can see that.
Okay, so here we've got an enlargement of that 4 needle tool combination. So we're going to be doing this one here, this middle one. Okay.
Right.
So you can see the picos there. You've got 3 picos in a row, and then you cut across, and then 3 picos in a row. So if you can cut across, you can do this, and if you can cut around the edge of a card, you can certainly do this. And then you've got a little cross in the middle, and then these little lines here are very fine, delicate lines that have been done with the 1 needle tool. So we covered that last week as well. Remember, you took your 1 needle tool and drag it across. And the little dots then are embossed in the middle. So there's not so many little dots. Somebody said they didn't like doing the little dots. So we haven't got so many dots, but we've got this lovely heart to emboss in the middle. Okay, so we're going to do that today. So I'll start then. I just wanted to go through, somebody was having problems embossing and perforating on the right side, and they were mixing their sides up. So I'll touch on that as we go through now, and I'll see if I can make that life a little bit easier for you with regards to that. So we're taking our 4 needle to a pattern on our piece of parchment. Okay. Now then, remember now, rub your tumble dryer sheet over the back first. Sorry, I rubbed it. I'm going to make a conscious effort to go a little bit slower because when it's in close up, it must be making you dizzy. So I'm going to stick my parchment down with my groovy tabs for those that are following on. So parchment doesn't have a right and a wrong side. Not until you start to work on it. And then when you start to work on it, it definitely has a right and a wrong side. So you will always perforate on the front and you will emboss on the back and you will cut on the front. If you don't, if you perforate on the back, your work will be scruffy. So let me bring this back in because I can turn this over to show you. So if I bring that back in, you can see that it's where I've perforated. If I run my finger over it, all I can feel is the little embossed bits. It's quite smooth. Yeah. But if I was to turn that over,
yeah, you can really see the difference, and it's scratchy as well, isn't it?
Really, really rough. Let's see if I can. No, I can't do that.
You can see that. You can see how you've got those raised parts where you've perforated the parchment. Yeah.
So this will be the back, okay? If you've got the raised bits, that'll be the back. And that'll be the back that you emboss on as well. But you should always perforate and cut on the front and emboss on the back, okay? When you're starting out. We do sometimes emboss on the front when we want some concave and convex images, but that's later on down the line when you've got a lot more experience. But to start off, perforate and cut on the front and emboss on the back. It's in the book. Write it down on a big sheet of paper somewhere in red and keep it by your side. But until you start to work on your parchment, it's pretty neutral on both sides, okay? Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to perforate through the parchment and through the pattern. So I'm going to get my picot foam and I'm going to put it underneath. So I want to perforate shallow to start.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to put my tumble dryer sheet underneath my pattern. So it's between my mat and my pattern. And this will lubricate the needles as we're perforating. There we are, I can see it better now. Once I press it down, you can see it a bit better. So these patterns are meant for the 4 needle fine. So I've got my 4 needle fine. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do one of these. So if I do the middle one, because it is the middle one that we're doing, just not to confuse you. So I'm going to use my ruler to keep it straight if you want to. I'm going to do a test. Where can you see? Right, I'm going to do a test bit there just to make sure my needles are straight. Yeah, they're quite pretty straight. And I'm going to perforate. There we are. So you can either now perforate by inserting 2 needles if you're not confident enough. That will give you the right spacing. But if you're clever enough, you can actually just do 4 at a time. So we're advancing 2 needles at a time. I think if you're beginning, that's probably the best thing you can do. So can you see that okay? Yeah?
Perfect. Yeah. And I think that's a really good tip with the ruler as well.
Yeah. And I have altered the camera angle a bit. So I am sort of playing about to this as we go along. So I might do those next and then I can turn my paper around because I always like to work in the same way. So you will see me turning my paper around a lot. I like to work in the same way because I can actually see what I'm doing. Well, most of the time. Now remember what I said before, that if you've gone out a little bit, just give it a little bit of pressure to get those needles back on track and over the holes. Let's do these as well. So I'm going to do those without a ruler. I'm going to be clever. It's good noise, isn't it, eh?
It is. It's very satisfying.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I was looking at the patterns within the book, Linda, and that beautiful corner in the top right-hand side. I would never have thought that that was done using a 4-needle tool.
I know you can do some amazing things with the 4-needle tool. And then later on, when you actually come to mix them up, oh wow, the world's your oyster, you know, when you just mix the needle tools, and you can get some amazing results. Japanese ladies are very good at this, the needle tools, and they make some beautiful, beautiful patterns by combining the needle tools. They've got fine, delicate hands, and their work is simply adorable. It's the best I've ever seen.
I remember going to a show once, and there was a lady demonstrating, and she did these beautiful parasols and little shoes.
Oh, Mickey Green, yes.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And handbags, and yes, that was she does some amazing work. Yeah. So, okay, let's take that off there. So we've done all our perforating now. So I'm just doing the one because I really want to show you some other things as well. So if I did 3, it would take up the whole show, really. So just remove your parchment, and then we're going to do a little bit of embossing. So all these holes now are shallowly perforated in order to let me do the embossing without splitting the parchment. So I've got my Pergamano excellent embossing mat, and there's there we are.
I mean, that on its own looks beautiful anyway, without anything else.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I could get the hang of this left a bit, right?
Left a bit, you're left. Perfect.
Yeah, but to go left, I've got to go right. People be thinking, oh, this one doesn't know what she's doing. That's why, that's my excuse, okay? So this is the right side now. So these are really nice and smooth, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over now. This is the right side. So what you might want to do is right front. Okay, on your work whilst you're practicing. I mean, don't do it in the middle like I've done it. Just do it in the corner. So I'm going to turn this over now. And you can see that's quite rough. You can see that now, can't you? And because I can't read front, I know I'm on the back. Okay?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to emboss the little hearts and the little dots and those little white lines. Okay? So if I bring the pattern back in, the enlargement, if I put it, move this over a bit. I put it there. So we're going to emboss a dot on each end of that corner.
Yeah.
We're going to emboss a dot in that cross section there in each, and then we're going to emboss the hearts. Okay. Now, if you're not happy embossing heart freehand, you can actually take your white pencil and move that over to there and just trace that little heart there. Okay, I'll do one for you to see now. Let's go back. So I'm repositioning there. You can see the black dot shining through. You know you're in the right place. Take your white pencil. Oh, that's not a white pencil. Just take the white pencil. And trace in your heart. Do that on a hard surface. Don't do it on a soft surface, or you're going to emboss it as you go. Don't fall into my bad habit. So turn it over, and I'm back on the back. Okay.
Lovely. Yeah.
So you've got a choice. You with the heart, you can outline it very carefully. So I'm using a 0.5 embossing tool here, and I'm doing it really, really gently. And what I'm doing is I'm going around and I'm actually filling the space. Okay, I'm going right close to those perforations. So there's the heart. Okay. Now then, I think I probably would do this. I'm going to turn it round so that I'm embossing away from me, because that's what I prefer. And if I put the ball tool, I've got a 4.5 ball tool just to start it off. If you're not confident with that, go straight down to the 3. But I'm just going to soften that. Don't have to rub a tumble dryer sheet over because we did it straight away. So I'm going to soften that parchment there, and that's given me a white heart. If you're confident enough, you can do it without, you can do it freehand, because that ball tool is big enough to give you the edge, because you've got a natural heart shape there if you look at it.
Yeah.
So I'm following that line down, I'm following the curve along the top, and I'm doing the same there. It's up to you, and I'm going right up to the lines. So what I'm going to get here now is a much softer heart than if you outline it. So straight down those lines there, follow the curve around. So still a press and a flick. So as I'm flicking, I'm taking the tool off the parchment and just following that straight line, the curve along the top and the straight line. You can see that, yes?
Yeah.
And then turn that round so that I'm working in the right direction for me. And I'll turn this around in a minute for you just to see how soft that heart will be, because I haven't outlined it. And if you can do this, it's great. It's really good practice. It means you can put any shape you want then into your patterns. Put that on a piece of black to show you.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you can really see the difference. So that one on the bottom left is the one that you traced out with the 0.5 tool. Yeah,
that's right. And if you can see as well, I've gone over a little bit there. I've come out into the, that's because I can't see very well with this magnifier. It's not as good as the one I've got on my work desk, but I have gone over the line a little bit. There is a little bit of fuzzy white there. That won't really matter. I'll be reperforating that afterwards, so that will disappear. And you can see I flattened one there as well. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You'll be tidying those up later. Okay, so that's the front. I'm going to, because now I know I'm on the front, so because I can read front there, so I need to turn over again and carry on with my. So I'm just going to consult my pattern, and we're going to emboss. I think I probably will use 1.5 maybe. Yes.
Do you want to bring it towards you a little bit, Linda?
See, you've
There
got
we go.
more, haven't you? So I'm going to use either a 1. No, I'm going to use a 1.5. You might find it, if you find it a bit big, so I'm going to put a dot in each corner. If you find it a bit big, go down to the 1. But this is much softer. So I'm doing my little dot. I'm not doing the back and forth. You can get away with it with these. So I'm going to do it once more. And then I'm going to put 1 on each end of the corner. 1 there.
Yeah.
1 there. 1 there. 1 there. And don't forget, with this mat, if you're finding that it's a little bit too soft for doing this, get your cello bag and put it underneath, and that'll give you a bit more resistance. There we are, that's much better. It makes a big difference when you're doing these, yeah. Especially if you're using the 1mm, because that's a lot smaller. I've got a 1mm here now.
Yeah, you can really see the difference from when you put the cellophane underneath.
It's not giving so much.
That's right. Yeah, you could really the parchment was sort of coming up to meet the tool, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to emboss 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to leave those that are encroaching into the heart. I'm going to leave those. Okay? Doesn't matter if you make a mistake. If you make a mistake on one, you just got to balance it out and do them all, and just don't cut them out. So.
And I suppose as you get confident, if you think, oh, I don't want to put the little white dots where you're putting them, then you could just cut the crosses, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely, yes. So I've done those. So I think I've done no. And then the next bit is the 1 needle tool bit, where I'm going to join up. I'm going to use a ruler for this. I'm going to be joining up those dots there. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the ones across first. So I'm going to do that one. And I'm pressing very, very gently, and the needle tool is at a 45-degree angle so that I'm not going through the parchment. And you get the finest of lines by doing this. So turn it round. And I'm going to do, you can add more in if you want. You can be doing these lines here. There we are. So make sure that the ruler is positioned over half the holes, so that it's right in the middle of those holes. I'll show you that now. So I'm going to turn it to the front. There we are.
Wow. Okay. It's amazing how all of a sudden it starts to come together, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So still, this is the front now. Okay. I'm going to turn it to the back again. And I'm going to do a little bit more on those hearts. I'm going to try and get them nice and white. So I've started them off with a 4.5. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the 3mm ball tool and whiten them up a bit more. I won't turn my parchment too much now, so I'll be making you dizzy. You have to have a good light, you have to have a good magnifier, you have to be able to see, to be able to do the needle tools properly. And you have to be mindful of the line of your sight. If you're working with your hands in the way, you're not going to be able to see, you won't get the needle tools straight.
And it's good to be in a comfortable position, isn't it? Because obviously you don't want to sort of be crouching over and and then you're sort of stretching your back and your neck.
Exactly.
I mean, Barb often in the shack sort of puts her neck up after a while of colouring and sort of just do some neck exercises, just look left to right, up and down.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. There we are. Now you can see I've given those a few coats. It's not like doing the little dots where you can do them instantly. You have to take the larger areas much more slowly. So I probably would come back to this a few times for those little hearts. Okay.
Yeah. But you can see it sort of starting to come together as well. And again, where you've sort of encroached on the perforations, that's, I'm guessing, where we correct that with the reperforating.
No, yes. I probably would get them a little bit whiter because they're not quite as white as those dots. Can you see? But I want to move on now. So I'm going to get my perforating mat and put it on my perforating mat. And let's have a look up. I think I'm going to put my Pico foam underneath as well.
Are you using the 12 by 12 or the A4 super foam?
No, I've got the A4 here. The only reason I didn't use the A12 is it gives me a bigger area and I'm never quite sure whether I'm in the middle. So that's the one I use mostly is the A12. A4 square, yeah. So, right, so we've got to reperforate all these holes now to get it nice and neat, okay? So 1 needle fine and perforate every hole. And you will see now that it'll start coming to life. So,
it just pings.
It does. There we are. So my work was starting to move, so it makes a big difference. If you were to do it, if you were to perforate deep to start with, and then not go back with a 1 needle tool, you want to try it. Have a go and see what you think. I can guarantee you'll think, oh my goodness, that's not half as good as it should be. You could reperforate with a 4 needle tool, the 4 needle fine, but you do run the risk then of getting it, if it's a little bit offset, you make twice as many holes as you should have, and it looks really ragged then. So that's where I went over a little bit. So you can see it doesn't matter, look.
No.
It did itself. I'm going to do those. And of course you can use the 4 needle tool on the grids as well. So you can use the 4 needle fine on the fine perforating grid, and you can use the 4 needle bold on the bold perforating grid. There we are. Done. Hold that up.
Wow.
Big difference.
Yeah, it's amazing just by going back and reperforating the different look it gives.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think probably the heart that I traced is probably a nicer shape, actually. You get more consistency if you do trace it out. It all depends, you know.
Yeah. But you've got that option because you've included it within the pattern, haven't you?
Yes.
So again, if you're learning to do the heart, then you've got options. You can try it freestyle, or you've got the pattern to trace out with a white pencil.
Yeah. So I'm going to cut those 4 little crosses in the middle first, okay?
Yeah.
Now remember now your scissors, I hold my scissors with my thumb and my first finger through, like a spoon. So the points, it all depends how you want to, you can use it with the points down if you want, but I'm cutting my scissors over the waist. I think I'm going to use my groovy guard for this as well. Just keep it really nice and flat whilst you're doing it. And I'm going to cut all the ones that are going in the same direction first. Just concentrating on those 4 in the front, in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to turn my parchment so that my scissors stays in exactly the same place. And then I'm going to get those four. Trying to get that picot point facing the middle, and try not to get it lopsided. That is a bit of a job when you're first starting out, getting that picot point exactly in the middle. And if it's not in the middle with you, I suggest you alter the position of your hand.
Could that be because you're tilting too much, that it's sort of going off at an angle?
Yeah, it could be. And if your scissors needs to be at a 90-degree angle to what you're cutting, if my scissors are that way, then this edge, one side of the picot point would be longer than the other. There we are. So we've got.
I love that. I love those little crosses when you get the hang of that, and it just reveals. I love it.
So we're going to do the slots now, okay? So we're going to cut the slots between the two embossed dots on that there. Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to cut still with the scissors over the waist. So I'm going to cut 1, 2, 3. Turn it around. Cut the one by the dot. Turn it around. And 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Love it.
Okay.
So really, it's just like an extended cross, isn't it, really?
Yes. Yes. So you do that then. I'll just do the one now, okay? And then I'm going to move on to something else. I'll do this one, and then there will be a corner will be completed, and you just do the same on the other corner. Remember now, this little dot here is going to be hanging on on 2 corners. So that corner is very delicate.
Oh yeah, you can see how the bottom of the heart is sort of more flexible now, isn't it? Because you've released it.
Yeah. There you go. What you've got to remember when you're doing something like this is you could end up cutting something and you've sort of cut something and it's dropped out. That's happened to me lots of times. You can see that little bottom of that little heart there.
Yeah. Wow. And again, I think starting off with the crosses, and then all you're doing is just extending that cross technique, aren't you? To create those little panels within.
Yes. I mean, try the 3 different ones, you know? So what I wanted to show you, a lovely little technique that a lot of people don't know about. A lovely way then to use the 4-needle tool is I've got my square groovy plate here, my nested squares.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'll use this piece now that we've used, and just going to emboss the square. Emboss the same one. Grab my tumble ray sheet. Where's that gone?
Underneath your mats?
Yeah, I have got a lot of mats there now, haven't I? Oh dear. When I come to clear up after we've switched off, I think, oh my goodness, what a mess. So I'm just going to do this square quickly.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you're doing your designs and you're thinking, oh, I want a little something extra there.
Yeah.
So, right. So I'm going to now this is the wrong side, okay, of my square. So I'm going to turn it over. I know it's different there. Forget about that. Forget about that one. And I'm going to take my funky foam, my piece of foam, Pico foam, and I'm going to take my 4-needle tool. So you could use the 4-needle bold for this, or you could use the 4-needle fine. And I'm going to show you both. So you've got to have nerves of steel here. So I'm going to, I'll tell you what, I'll do it with the bold first, so that you can see it. So what I'm going to do is, this is what I'm going to make. Okay, I'm going to have
wow.
2 needles one side of the line and 2 needles the other side of the line.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take my bold and I'm going to put 1 needle in the corner there. Got to be able to see this, okay? And right down, my nose is pretty much by the parchment. So, groovy guard. Oh, goodness. Right. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go, I've gone out a bit there, so I'm going to go, need to go up a bit. Oh my goodness, that's a bit wonky.
It's practice, Linda, it's practice.
Yeah, oh no, start again. Oh, yes. That's it. Because that needle, that one that's on the inside there has got to be tucked right into the corner, okay?
Yeah.
You always do this on a spare bit. So I've just proven what I'm always saying. Do a practice run first. So you get 1 needle on each side. I'm going to show you this with a bold. I do not think I'm going to show you it with the fine. So, so if you, to come down that line now, if you, I'm putting 2 needles into what you already did, and I'm making sure, because I can see there where I'm coming, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm making sure that needle, those needles are 1 each side of the line. And I'm not doing this shallowly because my embossed line is already there and I don't need to do any embossing around these perforations, so I can go straight in.
See, looking at what you're doing now, I would say coming towards you is easier.
It was easier, actually, yes. So you find what's best for you, okay? And then you can actually cut. You can leave it as it is if you want. It's quite nice as it is. Now you can do this on inside a design. If you've got something square, you can do it. You can actually do it around petals and things like that. It's a bit more difficult because you're not working on a straight line, but it can be. It can actually be done. But you can actually do it really nicely with 3-needle tool. So you've got 2 needles one side and 1 needle the other side. And I've got an example here to show you what I did with the 3-needle tool, but I sometimes will do it with a 4 as well. So let's cut that off.
Wow. I love that technique. I would never have thought of doing that with the 4-needle at all.
As I say, it's easier with the bold. So if I bring this in.
Wow.
So there.
Oh, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that on Groovy and Clarity Worldwide now, Linda.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So there you can see the bold.
Yeah.
There's the bold there on those 2.
Yeah.
And there's the fine. It can be done with the fine, but I would recommend that you do it with the bold first. I think probably it's equally as nice with the bold, you know?
Yeah. Whilst you're on that angle, Linda, are you able to show the ends of the two different tools, the difference between the fine and the bold?
Yes.
Tina's just asked, how can you tell the difference between the fine and the bold needles?
Oh, the right.
Of the 4 needles. So there we go. So if we just draw back a little bit, there we go. So the fine one is the one on the right of the screen, which is your left. It's got the tiny little dots. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one that's got the bigger dots on there is the bold one. There we go.
There we go.
So we can see the difference on that. Yeah.
And that's the bold. They're much bigger, those dots.
Yeah.
I might,
it fills the area more, doesn't it, on the end of the tool?
I noticed somebody posted recently that they'd mark the end with a black fine liner pen. They'd mark the little dots to make it easier so that they can see. So, yeah.
Would now be a perfect opportunity to have a sip of tea or coffee, Linda?
Definitely. Yeah. And I can clear. Okay. There we go. You're looking bedraggled, look now. I looked as tight as I looked earlier on.
I don't have that problem. When I lean over, I don't have that problem. As you know, Linda, we've got a one-day special coming up on Wednesday on the craft store. So it launches tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And it is your beautiful time for tea and coffee and cake, but in stamp form. So let's have a look at this. So what we've done, due to popular demand, we launched the groovy version of these back in March this year, and they went absolutely mad. And everyone said, oh, can we have them as stamps? So as usual, we listened. So we've got 8 beautiful little stamp sets here. Look, you've got the cups and saucers, all the different types of tea. Look at these teapots. These are gorgeous. The plates, we've got corners. So Lucy and Lisa work their magic, and we've got 8 beautiful stamp sets. I mean, I love this one. The tablecloth on that is absolutely gorgeous. So we've got more. So that's the set of 4 for the tea collection. Then we've got the coffee collection. My favorite is the coffee. So you've got you've got decaf, flat white, cafe au lait. I can't even pronounce that. Affogato. Would that sound about right?
I think so. I just Googled
it. Then we've got the cake stand. I love it. The cream. So you can have extra cream with your cakes. Then we've got Mum's Kitchen. Beautiful. I love this little border as well. And the design team have done,
isn't they, to colour in?
Yeah, they're absolutely gorgeous.
Yes. Oh, that's
beautiful corners on that one. And I've just got a little bit of artwork here just to show you, just to tease you. So this is a piece that Dee's done.
Oh,
Look at this. Isn't that clever? Isn't that gorgeous? So she's cut all of these out by hand.
Wow. That is exceptional. Isn't that beautiful?
It looks as if they're on there, but she's actually cut them all out.
Oh, wow, Dee, that's beautiful.
Then we've got this one from Sheila. I love the monochromatic look of this one.
That's gorgeous.
Using Barb's beautiful entwined wreath. Then we've got this one from Elaine. Look, using those little corners.
See? That's
absolutely
really nice.
beautiful.
That's different. Yeah, the corners are different.
Yeah. And then we've got this one. Let's have tea. So this one is from Julie. I love this. We've got the plates.
Yes.
And then we've got another one. This one's from Linda Spencer. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Blue
so we've got this. It is. It's sort of that Delft look, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So there's just a few things just to tease you with. And also as part of the bundle, what we've done as well, I don't know if you know this, Linda, we've done some postcards that come in with it. So we've taken the teacup stack and made it into a set of 10 postcards.
I didn't know you were doing those. I think they're delightful.
And then we've got the cake stand. So when you have a look at the size of the actual cake stand itself, you'll see that the postcard is a lot bigger than the actual stamp. So these are great for just, if you just need to send a quick card to someone, you can either colour it in or leave it monochromatic. And the bundle, we've put so much in the bundle. We've got designer paper in there. We've got card blanks in there. Beautiful, the craft card blanks with the white pencil. All part of it. So I hope you can join me tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And I know Linda will be watching to see what all the design team have done.
And
we'll have the groovy.
show.
Yeah. And we've got groovy on there as well. So if you missed out when we launched it back in March, then we've got that on there also at some special prices as well. So I hope you can join me tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been working with these. Dee has done some beautiful demos for me that I'm going to sort of showcase throughout. Oh, and Barb came up with a brilliant idea. When you see this idea tomorrow, Linda, in the 6 o'clock show, you'll go, oh, that is so obvious. But I'm not going to reveal it until 6 o'clock tomorrow.
I'm going to have to watch then. That's intriguing then.
So, right, so I'll pass you back over to the lovely Linda now. So what are we going to look at now, Linda?
I'm just going to show you a little bit of how we can use these 4 needle tools with the grids. So, so I've got my grids here. Let me swap my screen. So we've got the 2 different grids. One is fine and one is bold. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah.
This is the bold and this is the fine. Okay. So if I put them, it's not very. Yeah. You can see.
You can see the one on the right of the screen, which is to your left. That's bold. There's a lot more space in between each of the perforations.
Okay, that's the one I'm going to use. And I was just what I was going to say is when you've got if you're struggling lining things up, then all these could actually be put on a grid. They could be done on a grid. You've just got to work it out a little bit. So if you look at this corner here, you've got just a straight line. But with this one, you've got a straight line, and every alternate one then has a 4 needle tool attached onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a version of this, but it's got a little bit of an extension. And that's all it is. I mean, if you look at this, you've got 4 needle tools in a row there. And then you've got one little stray 4 needle tool, which is on the diagonal between those 2.
So really, this is just like the traditional version of Josie's duet plates, where Josie's done all the counting. You've done all the counting for us on the paper designs. And they work with they would go with the superfine grid, wouldn't they? If you wanted to overlay that pattern on the grid, you'd overlay it on the superfine.
Would be the fine. Yes, Josie uses the fine gauge, doesn't she? So I'm just going to attach a piece of parchment here now, and I'm going to show you how you can transfer one of these patterns. So the one I've taken is the one I'm going to take is this one here. Okay, so it's directly and across from the ones that we've been doing. It's on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, I'm going to keep it there. So I think I probably should bring that in so that you can see. There we are. So we'll keep an eye on that now. Let me fold it over so that you can see the pattern as I'm working. That's better. So we're doing that one there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Forget about that one there. Folded it in the wrong place. So I'm going to get my 4 needle bolt. Right, that's it. So I'm going to do that one there. So I'm going to start with 1 perforation. Okay. If you want to, if your needles don't flow very well, are sticking, you can put your tumble dryer underneath, but don't put it underneath your grid because it makes it all white and you can't see it. So you put it underneath your Pico foam, between your Pico foam and your thick mat, and that will help because the needles do go through. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've done. Let's try and keep this level. Done that one there. That's that one there. So I move diagonally now across, and I can put that one in.
Okay.
And then how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to do 6 down, but count that as number 1. Okay?
Yeah.
So we're coming across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And as you can see, counting is very important here. You can make a couple of mistakes by counting wrong, and then it's all out. It's just thrown. So I'm going to come down and do those. That's going to be number 1, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be number 6. So you've already done it. So to do the inner line, then you're moving diagonally again from those, and you're creating like a little diamond shape.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1, you've already done. 2, 3, 4. Coming this way, that will be number 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be number 1, 2, 3, and number 4 is already there. So you can keep on going that way. So there you've got.
Wow.
That one, but it's a bigger version of the one that we've got on the paper because it's with a fine needle tool and this is with a bold.
Yeah.
So you can make all these designs bigger.
So that'd be good if you're struggling with the fine needle. That gives you another option, then, doesn't it?
Gives you another option, but you can only do this with your 4-needle tool. Once we move on to others, you can't. Some of them will fit into the diagonal, but it's really much more difficult then to do a pattern on the diagonal grid. But I must have. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no. What I was going to say was with the grids, for me, when I first started doing perforating, we obviously had the grids available and they were just basic, like the designs there. But that taught me on how upright to hold the tool when I was perforating. Because when I'm holding the tool, when I'm embossing, I hold it like a pen at an angle. And obviously, when I was using a paper pattern and I was doing the same, I was jabbing, so I wasn't getting a perfect perforation. Whereas the grid taught me I had to, because the needle was being forced by the grid to actually hold it upright.
Yeah. So remember I told you you could go around a curve? So I brought this to show you. I've been looking for some. So this is a traditional card I made. So here you can see I've embossed the curves. The curves are in the pattern that I made. So I embossed the curves first, and then I took my 4-needle tool and I went around.
Wow. I really love that technique with the 4-needle. That's just.
And there it is on the edge, look.
Yeah.
There it is on the edge. And also, I mean, if I show you this one, I've got a 4-needle tool in there somewhere. I don't know if you can see it. Just used it as a decoration. in there between those two straight lines. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
could, if you've got two straight lines and you think you want to put something in there, try it and see if the 4-needle tool will fit in there.
Wow.
And remember I said you could go around a petal. I couldn't find one that I'd done with a 4-needle, but there's one that I did with my 3-needle tool. So I embossed the lines gently, and what I did was I coloured, and then I perforated with my 3-needle tool, and then I went back in and I made the dots more pronounced.
Wow.
So then you've got 3-needle tool, 5 in a circle, and your wave.
Gosh.
You've got the flower, you've got a flower tool there. So we'll be doing things like that. And that's the flower, that's a flower, and that's the flower. But there it's been cut around the outside edge.
Yeah.
What else have I got with this? I wanted to show you this one. So use your 4-needle tool singly. Just use it.
Oh, yeah, at the tip of those scallops.
Yeah, just on the tip of the scallops.
Yeah.
And it makes a big difference, you know. It's just adding little bits of interest, you know. And there's there we are. Here's there's the corner that's been used in a card. That's the square.
Yeah, that you've just been showing us how to do.
The different version, yeah, the one that's got all the embossed dots on it. And there, between two scallops, just some 4-needle tool work, just randomly around one in each scallop. And the last one I wanted to show you was this one. This is a Christmas tree. So we've actually got. So you've actually got let me get you a corner. So you've got 4-needle tool around there. Remember we did cutting in the dip last week?
Yeah.
So we did the cutting in the dip. And then you've got a moon tool. And then there are there's a 4-needle tool combo there that actually, with the moon tool, makes it look like little Christmas trees.
Wow.
So by putting one needle of your 4-needle tool into some of the needles of another tool, then you can get really nice combinations. There we are.
Wow. Wow, there we are, she says.
There we are.
Just like that.
That's it. I've had enough. Oh.
Wow. That, to me, what you've just done with that 4-needle tool, that would, even if I didn't want to do anything else with it, just to go either side of that solid line, as just...
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of people don't know about that, you see. There's so many things that, you know, you do, I do, and I think, oh, I'll have to show that. And there's so many things that you can show, you know. I mean, how often do you use your nested squares? And how often do you put a 2-needle tool around the outside? Well, change it up and use a 4-needle tool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come back to me, Paul, I can't see you.
You can't see it, right? There we go. Let me switch you to the dual screen.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking to myself.
You do that all the time, Rob says.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I do.
But I love the fact that, see, to me, to get that effect, if you'd shown me what you'd done there with the perforations either side before you did the picot cutting, I would have automatically thought that you've perforated with a 2-needle tool on both sides of it. I would never have thought that you cut the time down by doing it with a 4-needle tool.
Yeah, yeah. And you could put another row around the inside and go along it again with a 4-needle tool, and then you've got 2 rows of perforations. Yeah. Or you could do it along the outside, and then you could have a row of perforations and a row of picot cuts along the outside of your nested square. Or you could put 4 on the corner, on each corner. and then have a little raised bit on your corner with some little dots in it, and cut around that. So
Gosh.
possibilities are endless.
I think that a good thing to do now. I mean, if I was, my homework for me would be I'd just trace out some squares now and just play with that 4-needle tool to see the different combinations I could come up with.
Yes,
That,
it's getting the position it is, and that's just getting your eye in. Good magnifier, good light, good pair of glasses. Where's your oyster?
Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you, Linda. That is just that 4-needle tool. And to me, I would do it with the 4-needle bold. That's what I would do it
It's
with.
better to start with that.
Just to get my practice in. And then once I
Yeah.
was happy with the 4-needle, then I'd go in with the 4-needle fine.
Well, I've always done it with a fine, right? Because we didn't used to have a 4-bold.
You didn't have the bold. No. It never existed.
The old habits die hard, don't they? But when I actually did my prep yesterday and I did the 4-needle bold, I thought, this is actually looks nicer, you know? So I think I probably would switch to the 4-bold now.
Yeah.
What you're looking for, isn't it, really? Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So, wow. So next week we're looking at the 5-needle tool.
5-needle tool, yeah. Another little versatile tool.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what you're going to show us with that. So on Sunday on the blog, on the Clarity Matters blog, we'll have another project from the lovely Glynis using the 4-needle tool. I love that Glynis is using that tag plate for all of the projects.
Yes.
It's so versatile, that plate, and just swapping out the different design elements within there, but incorporating the patterns from within the book.
It's a perfect little size, isn't it? And like Glynis's idea was that you could write your notes on the back of it, and it's a nice way to keep them all in a book or something. And it's something to remember from the summer school. So it's a little keepsake, isn't it?
Absolutely. And again, with these YouTube videos we're doing, you can go back again and watch again and stop and start. You can fast forward when I'm waffling too much to get to Linda. And then you've got the blog, the Clarity Matters blog, where it's then followed up with a project. And I mean, it's just to have that library of product to go back to again and again.
Yes.
It's just amazing.
Yes. And let's see that. Let's see plenty of work on. Let's flood it.
And don't be scared to show it, because again, and if you don't get it right the first time, don't beat yourself up. I mean, there's no point of doing that. If you don't get it right the first time, walk away with it. Not with it, walk away from it. And then come back to it. And then just a fresh, maybe the next day, the day after, just give your eyes a chance to sort of chill out a bit. And or
look at it from a distance in the context of what you're making, because I mean, I'm working close up here, and you know, I made a boo-boo there. I went into my line with my needles. But if you look at it within the context of what you're making and hold it at a distance, it's probably not noticeable to someone else, you know.
That's right.
Unless you're taking it all the way along and making the right hash of it, which you won't. It's just a couple of perforations maybe out of place. Once you start to cut and emboss in there, no one's going to notice.
No. I mean, it's right what you say, Linda. When we're doing the retreats and people are stamping and colouring in and they look at it and they go, oh, it's... But we often say, give it to the person opposite you, get them to hold it up and then look at it. And then you go, actually, that's really good. And it's the same with this, isn't it? It's that same thing. Because you're focused to the minute detail that and we're our own worst critics, aren't we? We know that. So
let's face it, you're looking through a magnifier as well, aren't you? You know, I mean, if I'm a bit, no, it's not right. I'll put it underneath my mat. I'll go away and I'll come back to it the next day. And then, especially with colouring and things, you know, I think, oh, I got this really wrong. And I go back to it the next day with fresh eyes and think, gosh, that's pretty good. I was almost throwing that in the bin, you know?
Yeah.
So yes, just go back, put it away and go back to it.
So no, that's brilliant. So thank you everyone again for joining us this week.
Yes,
don't forget you can watch us on on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, and we've got a special page on both the Clarity and the Pergamano websites where you can find each lesson from Linda. So we're lesson 3 this week. I hope you can join me tomorrow for Linda's lovely Time for Tea, Coffee and Cake stamp one-day special. Barb's on TV on Sunday 2 till 4 with some beautiful, elegant ladies in stamps. Absolutely gorgeous. And then we'll be back in the school, back for lessons next Tuesday next week.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you once again to the lovely Linda and Glynis. I know Glynis was in the room for her projects. And we'll see you all again next week.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.